Hello, this is Emily, and I wanted to thank you for joining me today. Tonight is the full moon, and I thought it would be nice to do a little card reading for you guys. I have a spread that I've been working with. It's the full moon spread by the Wayfarer Tarot. And so it is a 6-card spread, and I will link a picture of that for you so you can give it a try at home. And the deck that I'm working with today is the Wayfarer Tarot. The Wayfarer Tarot is created by a couple of friends of mine who actually I learned tarot from. And this is a really beautiful deck with some just very accessible imagery and beautiful artwork. So I highly recommend that you check it out at wayfarertarot.com if you have not seen it before. It's been a really good divination tool for me, and I hope you like it as much as I do. I also have my Druid Animal Oracle deck today. I like pulling a 1-card Oracle card from this deck as a supplement to readings that I do, and just seeing what Animal Oracle has to say in addition to my regular tarot deck. So to start off with, I wanted to just dedicate a candle to this reading. Since it is the full moon, I have my white candle to honor her. In honor of the full moon, whose cycles guide us every month, and we learn new lessons about that which waxes and wanes within us, I want to dedicate this candle to our reading today and see what the moon has to reveal to us. I also have a couple of pieces of selenite. And I love selenite because it just seems to capture the light so beautifully. It has a very ethereal quality to it, and it's great to have in your meditation space to just sort of help calm you and absorb any kind of negative energy that's hanging around. I also have this Palo Santo spray that I bought at Bodhi Tree Body Works, and this has Palo Santo and quartz crystal, witch hazel, Palo Santo oil, frankincense, and it smells lovely. So we're just going to use this to help cleanse the space that we're working in today. I have a couple of other crystals that I really like. This one is a moonstone pyramid that I bought when I was in Calgary visiting my very dear friend. And this has some really incredible flash to it, and I like to lie down and just lay this on my third eye. Just feels really nice and helps kind of prepare me for an intuitive journey. I also brought out this nice piece of labradorite. It's got some really pretty flash on it here. Yeah, there you go. I love labradorite for many things, but it is known as the wizard stone, which I think is just cool. And any kind of magical working, it's good to have a piece of labradorite. I have a little bit of tranquility oil. This is a blend from Simply Earth, and it includes vetiver, spikenard, lemon, patchouli, sweet orange, lang lang, and it has a very grounding quality. So while we're working with our higher self and our intuitive energies, it's nice to just kind of give yourself a little anointment of something that's going to help you stay grounded. So as I said, I do have this 6-card spread for the full moon, and I'm going to shuffle my cards a little bit here. And the question that I have on my mind today is primarily, what does the upcoming month hold for me? What is the next cycle going to bring? If you have kids like me, they probably just went back to school. Today was the first day of school for both of my kids. And it's been a period of transition since the last full moon. A lot of new things coming up in my life, and maybe that's true for you too. The first card is, what have I created and manifested since the new moon? And the card that I pulled is the Chariot. And the Chariot in this deck is really beautiful. It's a rocket ship blasting off into outer space. And I think that's pretty indicative of the way that my last month has gone. I feel like my energy has skyrocketed, and just the intentions that I have maybe taken off a lot more than I expected them to. I feel propelled by a big burst of energy, and maybe you're feeling that too. I think it's a good card to get for what have you manifested. So I guess maybe think about that. Like, what have you manifested that has been propelled forward? What has come to pass that has made you feel energized or has given you fuel? The second card is, where am I now? The card that I pulled for this is the 9 of Earth. The 9 of Earth in this deck is so beautiful. She's very peaceful and in a garden, tending to her garden. She has a familiar on her shoulder. And she's definitely at peace. So where am I now? I feel at peace. I feel comfortable and in my right place. And I don't know about you, but that doesn't mean that things are stagnant. It just means that you're becoming your more authentic self. You are taking charge over your life and creating something, having some satisfaction. And if you're not there yet, I think it's important to recognize that there's a little snail here. People take things at their own pace. And even if in this moment you're not feeling like you have total control or peace, recognize that you have the power to tap into that energy within yourself. Reach into your root chakra energy and ground yourself. Spend some time outside. I know it's hot and tough, especially in Texas where I'm at, but try to connect with nature And that can help you feel so much more grounded in your time and place that you're in currently. The next card is, what is coming into my conscious awareness? The card that I pulled for this is the Two of Air. And the Two of Air speaks to a duality. So what is coming into your conscious awareness could have something to do with making a decision, or maybe a focus on your inner self versus your outer self, and making a choice to leave something behind and go toward a new goal. I think it's important to sit in meditation and consider the energies that are working inside you and outside you. Spend some time journaling and decide what it is that you need to focus on in the month ahead. The Two of Air depicts a black bird and a white bird mirrored with each other on the water. They're part of the same, and yet they're sort of opposites. And I think the moon reflects a lot of that in ourselves. When we think about our sun sign versus our moon sign, our external representation versus the story we speak to ourselves, the person that we are in our heart and mind versus the person that we represent to the world. So with your conscious awareness, perhaps this is a moment where you're reconciling those two parts of your dual self, bringing awareness to what may have been hidden. If you have a goal that you've been working toward, but you've kind of been keeping your cards close to your chest, and all of a sudden now you feel like, hey, the Chariot is propelling me forward. I need to share this with people. I mean, this channel has been something like that for me. I had the idea to do something like this, but felt nervous about sharing it with the world, and within the last moon cycle I have felt that it's time to release it out there. So what is it in your life that you've been holding on to that you can release out into the world? The next card is an important one for any full moon spread, and that is, what is no longer serving me? The card that I pulled for this position is the Hierophant. This version of the Hierophant is one of my all-time favorites. It depicts a professorial type individual. Rather than having a priest or pope on a throne, this is showing somebody who is distinguished and learned and has a wide array of symbols, books, statues, all the different tomes that represent the religions and studies of the world. And I think what is no longer serving us is maybe our concept of adherence to a rule set. The Hierophant can often mean that we're clinging to tradition or the established norms of society, and we have to play by the rules in order to get ahead in life and that sort of thing. Or it can also mean that maybe we've been rigidly following a dogma of our own making, that we have traditions that we've continued to follow, and this is maybe reminding us that it's time to explore other topics. The Hierophant reminds us to read books, explore, find new ways of getting information and expand our minds, and maybe consider perspectives that we haven't thought about before. The next card is, how can I release and let go of these energies? The card that I pulled for this one is the Five of Water. The Five of Water speaks to emotional release. If we've been holding on to a mindset that's not serving us, that we have to do it a certain way, or that there are no other paths to success for us, then that can lead to disappointment. And change is hard. Change is very challenging, and especially if you're talking about changing your entire mindset and approach. I mean, in my circumstances, a year ago, I left a 9-to-5 job working for a government agency, and it was a very negative environment in which every day I was bombarded with people's hateful energy. And I was lucky enough to be able to make the decision to leave that job and pursue things that I enjoy and that I'm passionate about. But it hasn't been easy. There have been setbacks and challenges and disappointments, and sometimes you pour your heart and soul into something and hope that other people are going to be interested or buy the things that you make or watch your channel, but not everybody is going to do things that you think they should do, and that can lead to you feeling some disappointment. But that is an opportunity. Feelings of disappointment and failure are not a dead end. It's just a step along the road, and somebody that's very important to me taught me that you have to look at those as a path to what you really want. When you come to a point at which you have a setback, you don't look at it as a turn back. You look at it as a way forward. You find that obstacle and treat it like an opportunity. It's a step forward for you. You can use it to your advantage. It gives you a fork in the road to be able to say, I've ruled that out and now I can take this path. So even though some of your cups have spilled, you may be feeling a little desperate or uncomfortable, you have more options. Thinking outside of the acceptable norms for what you want to do with your life sometimes can take courage. The last card is what additional resources are available to me as I release and let go? The card I pulled for this position is the Eight of Air. The Eight of Air shows a bird stuck in a cage and the door's open. It's there for you to step through, and the bird just remains in the cage. It's a situation that they've put themselves in or refuse to walk out of. So I think the important lesson here is the resource that you have to you is to recognize that you have the choice. So many people now feel powerless, and I think it's important to remember that you still have agency, even if there are roadblocks, even if there are setbacks. You have the power to move yourself forward. Step out of your cage. Look at the things that are the structure of your daily life, the things that you're struggling with, and instead of continually struggling against those restraints, maybe recognize that you have opportunity to fly, and there may be something else that you haven't even thought of trying, or maybe haven't allowed yourself to recognize in yourself that is an opportunity or potential. And look at your skill set, look at the things you're passionate about, and reach for them. Don't allow other people to tell you you can't do it. You have to have the goal in your mind and take little steps every day to reach that goal. In the month ahead, the resources around you are going to include opportunities that you didn't recognize before, things that will come to you that may have seemed out of reach, but suddenly have taken a step closer. Reach out to your community. Find other people who like the things you like, who do what you want to do, and talk to them. Learn from them. Recognize that if other people can do it, you can do it too. That has seriously become my new mantra. There are so many people out there doing so many varied different things. And just recognizing that you're only limited by your imagination. And what is your imagination telling you today? What little thing can you do in the next moon cycle that's going to further you toward your goal and release you from your cage? So I'm just looking at this spread, and we have 2 major arcana cards, 4 minor arcana cards, and we have a representation from every suit but fire. So what that tells me is that you're working on your stability, your ability to emotionally overcome the things that are holding you back. You're working on your ability to let go of maybe structural norms that have held you back before, and now it's time to reach for something new. And to look inside yourself to find the things that maybe have been within you all along that you've been unable to see before. I'm going to pull a card from my Druid Animal Oracle deck now, just to get a sort of general supplement to our reading. The Animal Oracle card that I've pulled for this reading is the Crane. And the Crane represents secret knowledge, patience. The crane stands for hours in the water, with one foot in the water and one in the air, waiting for its prey to come. I think this card is representative of the secret knowledge that maybe we've been holding on to. Maybe we've been hiding our true passions in the cave. We need to just dip our toe into the water and not be afraid to feel it fully. What is it that you are passionate about? What do you really love to do? If you can cross over your emotional self into your thinking mind, you can come up with a practical path to implement the things that you want to do so that you can grab your prey like the crane. Have patience, have fortitude, and have imagination. Imagination is key. You are only limited by what you can dream up. Be intuitive. Be brave. And if other people can do it, you can do it too. Don't get stuck in a cage of your own making. Imagine what else is out there. And over the next month, take little steps to get towards your goal. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope that your full moon is magical and powerful, and that you have every opportunity to manifest your goals. Release your limitations and focus on what it is that you want to accomplish in the coming month. And we'll check back in at the new moon and see how things are going. My name is Emily, and this is The Seeing Stone. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you're interested in getting a private reading with me, those are available on my website at theseeingstone.com. Please check out my channel if you're interested in more seasonal tarot videos, moon phase tarot videos, and I also have a series of spell work that's derived from tarot cards crossed over with D&D spells from the D&D Player Handbook. So if you're interested in any geeky crossover type stuff, then please check it out. I'm also starting a podcast this month with my husband, and we're going to be talking about a crossover between Magic the Gathering and tarot, and I hope that you will tune in for that. We'll probably do some videos playtesting some of our deck that we put together, and you can look for that podcast in the near future, and I will be sure to be back with more information about that coming soon. We got lots of other projects coming up personally. My next moon phase is looking pretty packed, so I look forward to having you come back and check out any of our new stuff that we're going to be releasing on this channel as well as on my website. And thanks so much for joining me today, and happy full moon.